Thanks, Sainath, P. Sainath, and everybody else who's present here. And thank you very much for organizing this session, which is absolutely necessary in today's conditions, in which there's still a great deal of uncertainty over how this Kisan struggle will proceed. The Supreme Court has said that it is going to issue the orders today. The Sanयुkt Kisan Morcha yesterday late night issued a press release saying that they are not prepared to talk to any committee. There is no need for any committee to step in with the issues between the government and the Kisan organizations. Very correctly, we support that position. It's the government that has to be answerable. And for the government to make it answerable, this bundle of lies that they're spreading against this entire reforms that they brought about, that are already exposed, that need to be continuously overexposed. This whole talk of consultations. If there were consultations, why was it that in the parliament, when we said let it go to a select committee, that was not allowed? Why was it in such a hurry that people who asked for a division of vote in the Rajya Sabha was suspended? And why were these bills passed in a din, in a truncated session of parliament? The answer is very clear. There's obviously certain deals that are behind this with the big corporate giants. And corporates wanting to take control of agriculture, its markets, its produce. In today's situation of global economic crisis, one can understand. In order to maintain their levels of profit or in fact increase them further, they require new areas of operation, and agriculture today is the goose that lays the golden egg as far as India is concerned. So the targeting of these giant corporates, the two of them especially, by the farmers is absolutely spot on. And this is where the entire issue comes down to it, that these farm laws are meant not for the welfare of India, not for the welfare of our Annadatas, our Kisans, but for soaring rates of profit for your corporate world. Now, having said that, this cannot saying that we all the political parties ask for agrarian reforms, but when the reforms are brought in, we are opposing it. Everybody is for agrarian reforms, but what sort of reforms? These are not the reforms that is going to help Indian agriculture or strengthen India's food security. If you want to strengthen India's food security, the question is to empower our Kisans, empower our farmers, and that empowering can be done needs to be done through a series of reforms wherein we'll have to bring in seriously, and the CPI has been suggesting such reforms in the past, have been saying so we have to consider seriously the question of cooperative farms in terms of cooperatives operating in terms of production and marketing. It's not only cooperatives for providing finance to the farmers, but it is also in terms of production for marketing. And this is essential in order to use higher technology, which requires larger farms, and such cooperative methods are absolutely essential. We have been suggesting that for many, many years. Many other reforms we have been suggesting. But even the issue of MSP. You see, first of all, I think all of us must be very clear in our understanding that MSP is meaningless unless there is procurement. If there is no procurement, MSC declaration is meaningless, which is what is happening in large parts of the country. And that is why whatever is declared also, the Kisan doesn't get that amount. But the definition of what is the MSP, all of us have agreed that we go by the Swaminathan Commission's thing of C2 plus 50%. That has never been implemented by the government, whatever be the claims of the Prime Minister. And wherever it is implemented, only 6% of our farmers are benefiting out of this MSP. MSP has to cover every single farmer. It has to cover every single crop. And until that sort of an MSP is brought about, it cannot be effective. I had written way back in 2017, when I was still a member of the parliament, to the Prime Minister, asking the government to bring a law for the Kisans to have the right to sell at MSP. This law is something we asked for. There's no, of course, no acknowledgement of that letter also, forget any reply. And then we reiterated this in our election manifesto, that there has to be a law by which anybody who's buying at less than the MSP will have to be prosecuted criminally. But this is something that the government refuses to agree. So the question right now is that these farm laws, I mean, we can go into the criticism of what this entire thing means, and all of us are well versed with it. There's no need to repeat all those issues. But the question right now is that they should be, and immediately these must be repealed, these laws. Then the government, not the question of any committee. The government must directly sit down with the farmers' representatives and talk about larger agrarian reforms, and then consult all the other stakeholders, and then bring new laws or new reforms in the parliament for its consideration and adoption. That is the only course that is there left now for the government. They'll have to be forced to do this. They're using the Supreme Court as today an escape route. This is exactly what the Supreme Court did with the Central Vista also. They stayed the Central Vista for 1 month, and after that appointed a committee, and after that said the committee recommendations have come, everything is fine, and they cleared it. Now, this is exactly the modus operandi that they are wanting to utilize for this Kisan struggle also. This cannot be allowed. So therefore, I'm happy to join with all others who are supporting the farmers, and will continue to support them. And right now, very correctly and very wisely, the farmer organizations have said that no political leader should come there to address them. And I think it is a very correct thing, because that has been the entire canard of the Prime Minister and the government, saying that politicians are behind them. Day before yesterday, when the Haryana Chief Minister was not allowed to hold his meeting, what was the charge he made? That farmers are very peaceful. It is the politicians who are bringing in outsiders to create these disturbances. So our support will be there from the outside. We'll continue to support in various ways, which we are already doing. But the question is simple. The solution is only one. Repeal these laws, sit with the farmers, sit with all the stakeholders, the government directly, and then discuss agrarian reforms and bring in new reforms and new laws. So the CPIM fully supports this direction.